Good morning, my dear friends. How are you? My dear students, how are you? Good. So, we have already done chapter 2, part 1. Today, we are going to do chapter 2, part 2, Lost Spring. And the part 2 is I Want to Drive a Car. My dear students, when you watch this video seriously, which is about Firozabad, famous for bangle making, you will get 90% of your chapter done. So let's watch it without wasting time.
मेन इंडस्ट्री जो है बैंगल्स का ही है। बैंगल्स के बाद यहाँ ग्लास शुरू हुआ है। पहले यहाँ से फिरोजाबाद सिर्फ सेल करने के लिए आया करती थी बैंगल।
अरे पिताजी करते थे पहले ये काम। पिताजी के एक्सपायर होने के बाद में ये काम हमने किया है।
हमारे बाप दादा और बाप दादे काफी अरसे चल रहा है बड़ी काम तो।
काम 8 साल की उम्र से कर रहे हैं। जब सीख गए तो आदत बन गई, करते हैं। पहले डर लगता था, अब नहीं लगता।
हमको खुद नहीं मालूम कि हम कितने साल के थे। बहुत छोटे थे, काफी छोटे थे। आज हमको कम से कम ये समझ लो, आज हमें काम इस गर्म काम में घुसे हुए आज कम से कम 35 साल करीब हो गए।
हाँ तो प्रॉब्लम तो होता ही है, थोड़ा सा गर्मी है उस वजह से।
सेफ्टी के लिए यहाँ कुछ भी नहीं है। सेफ्टी के लिए अगर हाथ कट भी जाता है तो ये सुतलियां हैं, सुतलियां इनको निकाल लीजिए और यूं करके बांध लीजिए। खून रुक जाएगा कुछ देर के लिए, फिर फेंक दीजिए। यही पट्टी है यहाँ पर।
यहाँ तो चलते ही रहते हैं, चलना ही काम है। ये काम ऐसा है कि यहाँ कोई किसी का वो नहीं है। आज आ गया तो कल दूसरा आ जाएगा। आज मैंने कर लिया, कल दूसरा कर गया, परसों कोई और कर गया।
छुट्टी वगैरह पड़ती है, रजिस्टर्ड छुट्टी पड़ती है, त्योहार वगैरह, इतवार वगैरह, संडे वगैरह, इसके कोई पैसा नहीं मिलता हम लोगों को।
So, my dear students, what have you just seen in this video? Bangle making, okay, beautiful bangles, and the people, those who make bangles. You must have noticed one thing: the people, those who make bangles, sit in dark rooms, dark hutments, or dingy cells and make these bangles. Do you know they make bangles during daytime? Their eyes are never exposed to light outside. So, what happens as a result of it? They end up losing their eyesights. Not only the elderly people who make bangles, but you must have seen women, girls, and the children are involved in bangle making. In the first part of this chapter, Lost Spring, we saw Sahib the rag picker who ends up working at tea stall. But we also notice one thing: he never shows that courage, that enthusiasm, and he never says anywhere that he wants to become his own master. Look at this one. Sahib is no longer his own master. I want to drive a car. Mukesh insists on being his own master. There are two characters, Mukesh and Sahib, but there is a difference. Mukesh insists, it means he demands forcefully. He says he doesn't want any boss. He wants to work under no one. There is a greater difference between these two. Do you know anything about cars? I ask. Who is I here? Anish Jung, the author. Do you know anything about cars? I will learn to drive a car, he answers, looking straight into my eyes. It means he is very confident when he says so. His dream looms like a mirage. My dear students, please underline looms like a mirage. Looms means appears, but not so clear. Like a mirage. Mirage, if you have ever been in a desert or on a hot road, you might have noticed from distance some water is visible. But as you get closer to that place where you have seen water, there is no water. It is just an illusion. So his dream to drive a car, to become a motor mechanic, seems unrealistic, which is never going to be fulfilled. Understood? So that's why his dream to become a motor mechanic or to drive a car is never going to be fulfilled. Dust of streets that fill his town, Firozabad. It means because Firozabad is famous for bangle making. So the writer thinks that one day Mukesh will also become a bangle maker. He cannot become a motor mechanic. Every other family in Firozabad is engaged in making bangles. It is the center of India's glass blowing industry, where families have spent a generation working around furnaces. Furnaces, everybody knows that आग की भट्टी जिसको आप बोलते हो. Welding glass, joining glass, making bangles for all the women in the land, it seems. So you must have seen in the video, everybody was making bangles over there. Okay, let me remove these two lines from here. Right. Okay. Mukesh's family is among them. None of them know that it is illegal for children like him to work in glass furnaces with high temperature. I would like to draw your attention to this line. Please underline. It is illegal. It everybody knows that children, those who are below 14, they cannot be forced to work, right? So I actually the writer is pointing to child labor here. But here, look at this. It is nobody knows that it is illegal for children like him to work in glass furnaces. It is illegal for children to work. But the children are working with high temperatures in dingy cells. I have already mentioned dingy means dark. Okay, where there is less air, fresh air, without air and light. That the law, if enforced, Anish Jang is saying, if the law is enforced, could get him and all those 20,000 children out of the hot furnaces where they slog. Slog means spend their daylight hours and end up losing the brightness of their eyes. Got it? How dangerous it is. So you can be asked here 2 mark question. What are the harms of working in a Bengal factory? Mukesh's eyes beam. It means shine as he volunteers, as he offers to take me home. It means Mukesh asks Anish Jan, come to my home, which he proudly says that house is being rebuilt. We walk down stinking lane. Stinking means which is giving out bad smell, blocked with garbage. Past homes that remain hovels. Hovels means like slum area. With crumbling walls. Crumbling means weak, about to collapse. Wobbly doors. Wobbly means same shaky, weak. No windows. Crowded with families of humans and animals. Coexisting means living together in a primeval state. So as you can see, Mukesh takes Anish Jain to his house, uh, going through or passing through narrow lanes, just like a slum area where they can see weak houses, weak doors, stinking lanes, and houses are so weak that they are about to fall. Right? So it shows pathetic condition and miserable condition they are living in. He stops at the door of one such house, bangs, hits. Have you seen a movie Bang Bang? Yes, hits a wobbly iron door with his foot and pushes open. We enter a half built shack. Shack is a kind of hut. In one part of it, thatched, that is mean dried grass. With dead grass is a firewood stove over which sits a large vessel of sizzling spinach leaves. My dear students, you must have been working or you must have worked in kitchen also. Whenever we cook something, there's a sound of sizzling sound. They're sizzling spinach leaves. On the ground in large aluminium platters, a plate are more chopped vegetables. A frail young woman, frail, everybody knows, a weak young woman is cooking the evening meal for the whole family. Through eyes filled with smoke, she smiles. You know who is she? She is wife of Mukesh's elder brother. It means in Mukesh's family, elder brother is there, his wife is there, and not much older in year, she has begun to command respect as the Bahu. Everybody knows in Indian society when a girl gets married, she is called as Bahu. Okay, the daughter-in-law of the house, already in charge of three men. So three men are there in the family. Who are those? Her husband, Mukesh, and their father. When the older man, the father, enters, अब आपको सभी को पता है कि when an older man, especially father-in-law, when he enters the house, the newly-wed woman or the bride, she wails, वो घूंघट करती है, ठीक है? Like look at the, she gently withdraws behind the broken wall and brings her veil. Veil, everybody knows, covering. In Hindi we say घूंघट, closer to her face. Okay, when you unveil something, you expose something. When you veil something, you cover something. As custom demands, daughters-in-law must veil their faces before male elders. जैसा कि आपको पता है, it happens in our Indian culture. In this case, the elder is an impoverished Bengal, impoverished, poor Bengal maker. Despite long years of hard labor, first as a tailor, this man earlier he was a tailor, then he was a Bengal maker. He has failed to renovate a house. Renovate house means to make it new, to repair, right? Re. Look at the word re again. No. No means new, to make it new. Send his two sons to school. All he has managed, please underline this line. This man has managed to do is to teach them what he knows, and that is the art of making bangles. So, my dear students, Firozabad is a place for Bengal and Bengal making. It is also famous for Bengal making. So, what this man has taught his children? Only one thing, that is how to make bangles. It is, yes, this is a question of 2 marks. It is his karma, his destiny, says Mukesh's grandmother. अब मुकेश की जो दादी माँ है, she says, it is already written in their karma. They cannot change it. They cannot escape from it. Who has watched her own husband go blind with the dust? Please underline, husband has gone blind, has become blind with the dust from polishing the glass of bangles. Can a God-given lineage ever be broken? So they think that it had been or it has been given by God and it cannot be broken. They cannot go away from bangle making because God is the giver of this. This is what they think. She implies, she says it forcefully. Born in the caste of bangle makers, they say because they were born in bangle making family. They have seen nothing but bangles in the house, in the yard, in every other house, every other yard, every street in Firozabad, which shows Firozabad is all about bangle making. Spirals of bangles. Have you seen bangles? These spirals, okay? Spirals of bangles. Bangles are of different color. Look at this: sunny gold, paddy green, royal blue, pink, purple. Every color born out of the 7 colors of the rainbow. It means they make color, every color of bangles. They have red, they have blue, every color they use. Lie in the mounds. Mounds means heap. In unkempt yards. Unkempt means untidy, disorganized at sixes and sevens are piled on four-wheeled handcarts. If you ever seen that handcarts, four wheels are there, all the bangles are put in and carried. Pushed by young men along the narrow lanes of the shanty town. Shanty means where you can see those kacha huts, kacha makan, right? And in dark hutments, next to lines of flames of flickering oil lamps, flames of flickering, okay, lamps sit boys and girls with their fathers and mothers. Everybody is involved in bangle making. Welding pieces of colored glass into circle of bangles. Please underline, their eyes are more adjusted to the dark. than to the light outside. That's why this is the only reason that they lose their eyesight, because they are focusing on only on light. That's why they often end up losing their eyesight before they become adults. So this is one of the harms working in a bangle factory. There's a girl in the house, Savita, a young girl in a drab means cover, who is wearing pink dress. She sits alongside an elderly woman. She is also soldering pieces of glasses, joining as her hands move mechanically. I mean, when she is making bangles, her hands are moving mechanically, just like a machine, like the tongs of a machine. I wonder if she know the sanctity of the bangles, sanctity, that holiness, that sacredness. Do you know, Indian married women, they wear bangle on their hands. But Savita, she is unmarried. She doesn't know the very purpose of making bangles or use of bangles. So here Anish Jung says she knows the sanctity of the bangle she helps make. It symbolizes an Indian woman's suhag, husband, auspiciousness in marriage. It will dawn on her, suddenly realize one day when her head is draped, covered with a red veil, lal ghungat, her hands dyed red with hina, mehendi, and red bangles roll onto her wrist. She will then become a bride, like the old woman beside her who became one many years ago. She still has bangles on her wrist, but no light in her eyes. Really, it shows that she has not enjoyed her life because of the condition they are living in. They are so poverty stricken. They are just doing this work, but this work hasn't been delightful or full of happiness. That's why there is no light in their eyes. Look at this Hindi. एक वक्त शेर भर खाना भी नहीं खाया. They never got one time meal. How hard their life is. She says, in a voice drained of joy, without any joy, devoid of joy. She has not enjoyed even one full meal in her entire lifetime. That's what she has reaped. So as you sow, so shall you reap. So they haven't earned anything out of bangle making. Her husband, an old man with a flowing beard, he says, I know nothing except bangles. All I have done is make a house for the family to live in. This is his achievement. That's it. Hearing him, one wonders if he has achieved what many have failed in their lifetime. There are so many people that who are not able to make their house, haven't been able to make their own house. He has a roof over his head, but finally he is satisfied when he says that he has made a house. The cry of not having money to do anything except carry on the business of making bangles, not even enough to eat, rings in every home. So this problem was prevalent in all the homes which carried on the profession. They didn't know anything else other than bangle making, and it didn't even provide them enough to eat. The young men who had entered the traditional profession also had the same complaint. With the passing time, there was no improvement in their condition, as they had been doing hard work for countless number of years. They didn't have any ability to do something else for dream of it. Why not organize yourself into a cooperative? I asked a group of young men who have fallen into the vicious circle. Vicious, it's a very, very important question. It was last year. What is the vicious circle? It's a dangerous circle, right? Look at this. Vicious means dangerous. Of middlemen who trapped their fathers and forefathers. Even if we get organized, we are the ones who will be hauled up, dragged by the police, beaten, and dragged to jail for doing something illegal, they say. There's no leader among them, no one who could help them see things differently. Their fathers are as tired as they are. They talk endlessly in a spiral that moves from poverty to apathy to greed and to justice. So, my dear students, we say the Anish Jung, the writer here, suggests them to form a cooperative. They should form a form an organization. She talked to a group of young men to get out of the clutches of the cruel middlemen, policemen, sahukars. The men said if they dared to do something like that, they would be dragged, pulled out of their houses, and beaten up and sent to jail. Their acts would be termed to be unlawful, illegal. They cannot make any organization. The writer also felt that as they had no leader, they could not think of doing things differently. So they lack leadership also. They all were so tired, the men and their fathers. You know, they talk endlessly in a spiral that moves poverty to apathy and to greed to injustice. Spiral means here never ending, continuous process. Apathy means lack of concern. Greed, everybody knows. Stigma, dishonor, bureaucrats, government officials. Imposed, which has forced upon. Baggage, burden. And to dare means to do something courageous. The men complained that it was a continuous process. Their poor condition led to lack of concern for their problems. This made them greedy and led to injustice. The writer envisioned that there were two separate worlds. One was such families who were stuck in poverty and the pressure of doing the traditional profession according to the caste in which they were born. The other world is a never ending cycle of money lenders, middlemen, policemen, law keepers, government officials, and politicians. Both of these worlds had forced the young boys to follow the family traditions. The young boys get into profession and become a part of this vicious circle, even before they realize it. If they did anything else, it meant they were challenging these two worlds. And daring is not part of this growing up. When I sense a flash of it in Mukesh, I am cheered. I want to be a motor mechanic, he repeats. He will go to a garage and learn. But the garage is a long way from his home. I will walk, he insists. Do you also dream of flying a plane? He is suddenly silent. No, he says, staring at the ground. In his small murmur, there is an embarrassment that has not yet turned into regret. He is content, satisfied to dream of cars that he sees moving around, hurtling down the roads or streets of his town. Few airplanes fly over Firozabad. Well, I would say the writer says here he was happy uh, to see when Mukesh says he wanted to become a motor mechanic. He wanted to go to a garage and learn the job. The writer asked that as the garage was at a distance from his home, Mukesh insisted that he would walk up to it. She asked him if he dreamt of flying planes. The boy became silent and refused. He didn't know about them, as he didn't know about planes. Not many planes flew over Firozabad because he hasn't seen. So seeing is believing, unseeing is non believing. As he had only seen cars moving around in Firozabad, his dreams were restricted up to them. So, if look at the question, what could be some of the reasons for migration of people from village? Everybody knows people migrate from villages to cities in search of a better life. They want to earn money so that they can lead a good life and bring up their children in a better way. As cities have more opportunities for work, this makes them migrate from the village to these big cities. Would you agree that promises made to poor children are rarely kept? Why do you think this happens? This incident narrate. Okay, this question you have to do on your own. And what forces conspire to keep these workers in Firozabad in poverty? Yes, what forces are there? So, you can say these children are number one, poverty stricken. They are burdened by the act of the particular caste in which they were born, bangle makers. They have to continue this tradition profession. Further, the society has formed a vicious circle around them, the money lenders, middlemen, policemen, politicians, and bureaucrats. All together, they create a barrier around them and tie them in the grip of poverty, which they cannot escape from it. That's why these are the forces which compel them to work. Next question: how, in your opinion, can Mukesh realize his dream? Simple. How? If he thinks differently, if he's given some help, if he is made realize of his own strength, if he is made aware of it, right? So he can realize his dream with determination and hard work. Mention the hazards of working in the, you can do this question on your own. Why should child labor be eliminated and how? This is up to you, my dear friends, how you answer. So I hope that I have been able to teach you in a proper manner. Thank you.